The rain hammered the chapel roof like fists on a coffin lid, drowning out the preacher's drone about eternal rest and God's unyielding grace. Rowan stood at the back, his identical twins' polished oak casket gleaming under the stained glass glow. Elias's face frozen in a peace Rowan knew was a lie. Elias had never been peaceful. Not in life. Not in the secrets they shared. When the family turned their backs on him, Harlan's voice cutting through the murmurs like a blade. "He's no son of mine to mourn here." Rowan felt the ground split open, swallowing the boy he'd always been, leaving only the man who would have to bury himself. Rowan Whitaker had always known the world saw him and Elias as two halves of the same coin, flipped eternally in the misty cradle of Bellingham, Washington. Born 32 minutes apart on a stormy autumn night in 1997, they emerged into a world that mirrored their fates, Elias first, crowning with a cry that echoed triumph, Rowan trailing in silence, as if already weighing the quieter burdens ahead. Their father, Harlan Whitaker, a stern mill worker whose calloused hands shaped cedar logs into homes for strangers, had named them after biblical wanderers, Elias for the prophet who ascended in fire, Rowan for the tree that bent but never broke. Beatrice, their mother, softer around the edges with her garden-fresh optimism and flower-dusted aprons, had whispered prayers over their cribs, dreaming of sons who would carry the family name without fracture. But fractures came early, subtle as the first cracks in Whatcom Fall's icy surface. By age 5, they were inseparable shadows in the fog-shrouded streets of their Fairhaven neighborhood, racing bikes down Chuckanut Drive with winds whipping their matching chestnut curls. Elias led, always the blaze, climbing the highest branches of the madrona trees, daring Rowan to follow, his laughter a spark that ignited the damp air. Rowan trailed, heart pounding not from fear but from the thrill of being seen, of Elias's hand extended backward like a lifeline. "Come on, row," Elias would yell, green eyes, hazel like Rowan's but brighter, less haunted, flashing with that reckless joy. The world's too big to hang back. School sharpened the edges. At Roosevelt Elementary, teachers cooed over the Whitaker twins, lumping them into one golden narrative: star soccer player and budding artist. Valedictorian material doubled. But puberty's cruel alchemy separated the ore. Elias bloomed into the all-American archetype, broad-shouldered, easy with girls, the quarterback who tossed perfect spirals at homecoming games under Friday night floodlights. Rowan? He sketched in the margins, his drawings lingering on the curve of a teammate's neck, the way sweat traced paths down sun-kissed skin. He buried those pages under his mattress, heart a frantic drumbeat whenever Elias burst into their shared room, towel slung after practice, oblivious to the flush creeping up Rowan's neck. It was in their junior year at Sahome High that the chasm yawned wide. Elias, 17 and invincible, started dating Claire Hargrove, the cheer captain with sun-bleached waves and a laugh like summer bells. They were prom king material, the couple etched in yearbook gloss. Rowan watched from the bleachers, nursing a crush on Jamie Kessler, the quiet violinist in orchestra who shared his lunch table and furtive glances. One night, after a bonfire party at Larrabee State Park, Rowan confessed to Elias in the glow of dying embers. "I think I like boys. Eli. Really like them." The words hung heavy, smoke curling around them like accusations. Elias froze, beer bottle midway to his lips, then clapped Rowan's shoulder with that trademark grin. "Hey, man, you're my brother." Doesn't change shit, but it did. Subtly at first, Elias's jokes veered safer, his invites to double dates laced with pity. Then Harlan caught wind. A rumor from a loose-lipped coach about that Whitaker boy acting funny in the showers. The dinner that followed was a battlefield, Harlan's fork slamming down, veins bulging like roots under thin soil. "This ain't our blood talking. You fix it, or you ain't welcome at this table." Beatrice wept into her napkin, murmuring about prayers and pastors, her love a fragile bridge buckling underweight. Rowan fled to Seattle that summer, 18 and adrift, crashing on a cousin's couch in Capitol Hill. The city's pulse, neon veins of Pike Place, the thrum of pride parades snaking through rain-slick streets, offered camouflage. He enrolled at the University of Washington, majoring in graphic design, his sketches evolving into digital realms where bodies intertwined without judgment. Elias stayed behind, anchoring the family myth, straight-A senior, enlisted in the National Guard post-graduation, wedding Claire in a backyard ceremony under Harlan's approving nod. Distance bred letters at first, Elias's scrawled on yellow legal pads. Tales of boot camp drills in Yakima. Claire's bun in the oven. "Miss you, Ro. Dad's mellowing. Come home for Thanksgiving." Rowan did. Twice. Each visit a tightrope. Harlan's gruff silences, Beatrice's furtive hugs, Elias's attempts at normalcy cracking like thin ice. By 25, Rowan had built a life in Seattle's Elliott Bay lofts, freelancing album covers for indie bands. His nights a mosaic of hookups in dimly lit bars like the Cuff Complex, where leather and longing blurred into dawn. Elias, meanwhile, mirrored the straight-line dream, a junior developer at a Bellingham tech startup. Father to little Harlan Jr., HJ. They called him a towhead terror with his dad's grin. Claire thrived as a realtor, flipping craftsman homes in Sudden Valley. They visited Rowan sporadically, Aji, toddling through his apartment, Elias ribbing him about bachelor pad chaos, Claire's eyes lingering on the framed photo of the twins at 10, arms slung around each other by Lake Samish. But beneath the postcards of normalcy, resentment simmered. Elias's calls grew sparse, laced with Harlan's echoes. "Dad says you're still. You know, when you gonna settle?" Rowan bit back retorts, the old wound throbbing. He dated sparingly, a barista named Theo with tattooed forearms, and a poet's melancholy lasted 6 months, ending in a tearful argument over family holidays. "They don't deserve you," Theo whispered, but Rowan wondered if he deserved them. The call came on a drizzly October evening in 2025, Rowan's phone buzzing amid takeout pho and a half-finished logo mock-up. Claire's voice shattered the screen. "Elias. Accident on I-5. Semi-truck hydroplaned in the merge. He's gone. Rowan. Just. Gone." The world inverted, Seattle's skyline blurring into the Whatcom County pines of childhood. Rowan drove north through sheets of rain, wipers slashing like accusations, arriving at the hospital where Beatrice clutched a rosary, Harlan stone-faced in the waiting room corner. Elias lay pale and still, tubes retracted, the monitors flatline a ghost in the sterile hum. They looked so alike, same strong brows, same faint scar on the chin from a skateboarding wipeout at 12. Rowan reached for his hand, cold as autumn soil, and whispered, "You promised we'd fix this." Eli, Harlan's shadow, fell across the bed. "Prayers won't fix what you broke in this family." The words landed like the first shovelful of dirt. The funeral planning blurred into a haze of casseroles and condolences from the First Baptist congregation. Beatrice insisted on the chapel in Linden, Dutch heritage strong in its white steepled simplicity. Rowan offered to speak, to weave a eulogy of their shared boyhood, the forts in Taylor shellfish beds, the midnight swims in Birch Bay. But Harlan shut it down in the kitchen, voice low and lethal over cooling coffee. "You ain't standing up there. This is for Elias's memory, not your lifestyle." Claire nodded weakly. She, oblivious in his high chair. Beatrice's eyes pleading silence. So Rowan stood at the back as the service unfolded, the organ swelling with amazing grace, Harlan's eulogy painting Elias as the flawless son, provider, patriot, pillar. No mention of the twin. The mirror cracked. When the family procession moved to the grave, Harlan's arm around Beatrice, Claire cradling HJ. The usher blocked Rowan's path with a murmured, "Private family plot?" "Sir." Rain pooled in the gravel, soaking Rowan's boots as he watched the casket lower, earth claiming what blood had rejected. That night, alone in the guest room of his childhood home, Elias's old posters curling at the edges, Rowan unpacked the box of letters from under the bed. Elias's handwriting, bold and looping. "You're the brave one. Ro. Don't let them dim you." Tears salted the ink, blurring promises unkept. Dawn broke gray over the bay, and Rowan drove south, the rearview mirror framing a life halved. The road ahead a ribbon of fog and reckoning. Seattle welcomed Rowan back with indifferent drizzle, the Space Needle's spire piercing low clouds like a half-hearted accusation. He crashed at a friend's sublet in Fremont, the troll sculpture under the bridge a grotesque guardian to his unraveling. Days bled into freelance deadlines, nights into whiskey shots at Shorty's, where the jukebox spun Johnny Cash laments that mirrored his hollow chest. Theo texted once, "Heard about Elias. Call if you need," but Rowan deleted it. The vulnerability too raw, like exposing a fresh bruise to salt air. Memories ambushed him in fragments, Elias teaching him to drive stick on empty backroads near Artist Point. Gear-grinding laughter echoing off mountain walls. Shift like you're dancing. Row, not fighting. Or the summer they turned 16. Hitchhiking to Vancouver for a Mariners game. Splitting a contraband six-pack under border stars. Elias confessing his fears of fatherhood young. Rowan vowing, "We'll raise him right. Together." Lies. All of it. Eroded by years of Elias's slow retreat. His texts turning perfunctory, busy week. Talk soon. Rowan threw himself into work, pitching a mural concept for a Capitol Hill coffee shop, vines twisting into queer icons, roots delving deep despite storms. The owner, a silver-haired dyke named Marisol, saw through his pitch-black humor. "This ain't just art, kid. It's armor." Her shop, the Velvet Bean, became sanctuary, steamy lattes, open mic nights where poets spilled guts like confetti. There, Rowan met Luca, a barista with olive skin and a lopsided smile, curls tied back in a knot that begged untying. Luca's shifts ended with easy banter. "You draw that? Looks like it hurts," in the best way. And soon, coffee morphed into walks along the waterfront, hands brushing accidental on purpose. Luca was 28, a transplant from Portland's food cart scene, studying urban planning at night school with dreams of greening food deserts. He carried his queerness lightly, like a well-worn flannel. No apologies for the rainbow pin on his apron or the way his eyes crinkled when Rowan dodged family talk. "We're all orphans in this city," Luca said one evening, sharing empanadas on a pier bench as ferries cut wakes in the Sound. "Pick your tribe." Rowan wanted to believe it, but Elias's ghost clung, whispering doubts in the quiet hours. Back in Bellingham, the estate unraveled with surgical precision. Harlan hired a probate lawyer from Ferndale, a no-nonsense type named Dwight who faxed documents outlining the will, Elias's modest savings to Claire and HJ, the family home held in trust for Beatrice. No bequest to Rowan. "Your brother provided for his own," the letter read, Harlan's signature a scrawl of finality. Claire called, voice thick with exhaustion. "He didn't mean. It's just Dad pushing papers." "Come for HJ's birthday?" He asked for Uncle Ro. Rowan went, steeling himself against the suburb's cookie-cutter calm. The party was a pastel assault, balloons bobbing in the backyard. Ashi. Smashing cake with pudgy fists. Neighborhood dads grilling brats and swapping guard stories. Elias's absence loomed, a hollow in the lawn chair circle. Harlan grunted hellos, eyes on the smoker, but Beatrice pulled Rowan aside, pressing a locket into his palm, Elias's, engraved with their initials intertwined. "He wore it always. Said it kept you close." Her fingers trembled, the first crack in her facade. Ashi. Toddled over, chocolate-smeared grin wide. "Uncle Wa, play ball." They tossed a worn mitt in the grass. Rowan's throws gentle arcs, HJ's wild swings echoing Elias's childhood glee. For a moment, time folded, 3 generations in the sun-dappled yard. Harlan watching from the porch with something like regret flickering in his eyes. But dinner shattered it. Claire's sister, a Bible study zealot named Kendra, cornering Rowan by the dessert tray. Tragic about Eli. "If you'd been more like him." Maybe. The room hushed. Harlan's cough, a thunderclap. Rowan set down his plate, voice steady as tidewater. "Maybe if we'd all been more like him, we'd be whole." He left early, rain starting as he crossed the border back to Seattle, radio static swallowing Adele's ache. Luca waited with takeout ramen at the loft. No questions, just the warmth of shared silence and fingers tracing scars on Rowan's knuckle from a long-ago fight with Elias over coming out. "Tell me when you're ready," Luca murmured, lips brushing temple. That night, they made love slow and deliberate, bodies mapping forgiveness in the dark, Luca's hands reverent on Rowan's hips, breaths mingling like fog on glass. Dawn found them tangled, Seattle's hum a lullaby, but Rowan's dreams replayed the chapel block, Harlan's words a loop of exile. Weeks blurred into a fragile rhythm, mornings sketching with Luca's coffee steaming beside, afternoons hiking Discovery Park's trails where ravens called like omens, evenings at the Velvet Bean crowdsourcing neural tweaks. Marisol introduced Rowan to her circle, activist from Cascade PBS, a therapist named Ellis who specialized in queer family estrangement. "Grief isn't linear," Ellis said over herbal tea in his Queen in office, bookshelves groaning with Audre Lorde and James Baldwin. "It's a salmon run upstream, fighting currents of what-ifs. The what-ifs multiplied. What if Elias had fought harder? What if Harlan's millwork scars had softened his heart?" Rowan journaled them in a leather-bound book from Pike Place, pages filling with vignettes, Elias's wedding toast. Slurring to family. Blood or chosen. His wink across the reception hall, a private Morse code. Or the guard deployment Elias survived in 2020. Video calls from dusty Kuwaiti tents. Miss our talks. Row. About real shit, but real shit stayed buried. Elias's straight facade shield that singed Rowan in the crossfire. Conflict crested at Thanksgiving. Claire invited him to Claire's parents in Mount Vernon. Neutral ground scented with turkey brine and cranberry relish. Harlan declined. Beatrice sent regrets via text. Flu season. Dear, but HJ's FaceTime please melted resolve. The drive north wound through Skagit Valley's tulip fields. Dormant under frost. Rowan's playlist a mix of Bon Iver's Ache and Chapel Roan's Defiance. Luca came too. Hand on thigh a quiet anchor. The meal unfolded civilly at first. Claire's mom. Fussing over plates. Her dad regaling Luca with fly fishing yarns from the Skagit River. Ashi. Perched on Rowan's lap. Chattering about preschool tractors. Then Kendra arrived late. Wine glass in hand. Her toast veering sharp to Elias. The man who knew his place. The table stiffened. Claire's fork pausing midair. Rowan met her gaze. The locket heavy under his shirt. To Elias, who loved without borders. Wish we all could. Kendra's laugh tinkled like breaking glass. Some borders keep the weeds out. That shushed her. But damage bloomed, Claire excusing herself. Ashi. Wailing for cake. Outside, under porch string lights, Rowan found Claire on the glider. Tears carving tracks. Dad's will. It's not just money. It's erasing you. She pressed the key into his palm. The back door to Elias's old office in the garage. His letters are there. He wrote to you. After, Luca drove them home through sleet. Rowan's silence a storm front. That night, rage cracked open. He punched the loft's exposed brick. Knuckles splitting, blood smearing Luca's concerned embrace. He knew, Rowan gasped. Elias knew how they treated me, and he let the will stand. Luca held him through sobs. Dawn, painting their skin gold. But trust fractured like the first ice on Green Lake. Winter clamped Seattle in its gray fist. Holiday lights twinkling defiant against the solstice dark. Rowan avoided mirrors. His reflection too much Elias's echo. Same cheekbones hollowing under grief's chisel. Freelance dried up. Clients sensed the tremor in his pitches. The murals turning thornier. Lovers' limbs barbed with isolation. Lucas stayed steady, cooking pozole from his abuela's recipe. Their bed a raft in churning seas. But doubt crept in like damp through seals. Was this love? Or Luca's pity for the broken twin? The key from Claire burned in Rowan's pocket. A talisman deferred. He drove to Bellingham on a whim. Mid-December. Fog cloaking the highway like amnesia. The Whitaker garage loomed barn-red. Snow dusting its eaves. HJ's trike abandoned by the door. Claire let him in quietly. Harlan at the mill. Beatrice napping under quilts. Take what you need, she whispered. Eyes red-rimmed from night feeds and widow's ledgers. Elias's office was a time capsule, drafting table scarred from model airplanes. Walls pinned with code printouts and HJ's finger paint masterpieces. The desk drawer yielded a shoebox. Lid taped with row, open alone. Inside, letters unbound. Elias's script evolving from blocky teen angst to the hurried slant of fatherhood. The first. Dated 2015, Seattle suits you. Dad's still raging. But I told him your family. Period. Miss our dumb bets. Who'd score first with a guy/girl? Deeper. The tone shifted. 2020. Post-deployment. Saw a news clip on Don't Ask. Don't Tell repeal. Wish I'd said it louder back then. Claire knows about you. Always has. Says you're brave as hell. Then. 2023. Ink smudged like sweat. HJ. Asked why Uncle Ro doesn't visit. Told him you're building worlds with your art. Truth? I'm scared. Dad's health slipping. Heart stuff? And he keeps harping on legacy. Straight lines only. I push back. But weakly. Forgive me. The last. Undated. Scrawled on a torn envelope. If something happens, fight for your place. You're the root. Ro. I'm just the branch. Love. Eli. Rowan's knees buckled. Box spilling across the concrete floor. Letters snowing like accusations. Claire found him there, curled fetal, and knelt without words. Her hand on his back, a bridge across the chasm. He updated the will last spring. After his checkup, said it was practical, protecting Claire and the boy. But he mentioned you in private notes. Rowan gets the stories. Stories. The box held more, a USB drive labeled twin tapes, grainy videos from their teens, Elias filming Rowan's first sketch session in the basement, narrating in mock BBC. Here, the elusive artist emerges from his cave, or them at 18, drunk on stolen wine by Lake Patton. Elias slurring. Promise me we'll always be us. No matter what. Rowan pocketed it all. Claire's hug fierce. You're welcome here. Always. Back in Seattle. The drive through evergreens blurred into catharsis. Luca waited with mulled wine and a puzzle of the Cascades. Their evenings piecing fragments, letters read aloud by firelight. Videos buffering on the laptop. Elias's laugh, a ghost filling the room. He loved you, Lucas said simply, tracing the locket chain. Messy, but real. Intimacy deepened. Tentative explorations turning fervent. Lucas' mouth mapping Rowan's collarbone. Whispers of stay against skin. For the first time, Rowan felt seen, not as half a pair, but whole in fracture. But healing's path twisted. New Year's Eve brought Harlan's call. Voice gravel over the line. Beatrice wants you at the house. For the boy, suspicion coiled. But HJ's pull proved stronger. The Whitaker living room, strung with faded tinsel, held an uneasy truce. Harlan in his recliner, nursing scotch. Beatrice fluttering with pie plates. Ashi gifted Rowan a finger-painted Uncle colors bleeding joy. Conversations skirted edges, mill layoffs, Seattle rents, until Harlan cleared his throat. Eyes on the fire. Elias. He spoke of you. Before, the admission hung, brittle as ash. Rowan waited, hard at tripwire. Said you were the strong one. Carried the load, he couldn't. Harlan's fingers tightened on glass. Knuckles blanching. I was wrong. About a lot. Beatrice nodded. Tears brimming. But the moment fractured when the phone rang. Kendra, insisting on a family prayer circle for Elias's soul. Harlan demurred. But the air soured. Old poison seeping. Rowan left with the painting tucked under arm. The olive branch half-chewed. Luca met him at a Belltown countdown party. Confetti cannons bursting like suppressed sobs. Their midnight kiss tasting of champagne and possibility. But dawn's hangover revealed cracks. A text from Claire, Dad's relapsing. Heart scare. Come. And Rowan's freelance account dipping red. Murals rejected for too political. January thawed into rebellion. Marisol commissioned the velvet bean wall. Rowan wielding brush like Excalibur, twins entwined in vines. One branching straight, the other curling wild. Roots interlocked beneath. Crowds gathered, snapping pics for Instagram reels. Luca beaming from the counter. Ellis's sessions dug deeper. Hypnosis unearthing buried rages. The high school locker room shove from a teammate who'd whispered fag after catching Rowan's gaze. Anger is grief's shadow, Ellis noted, prescribing walks in the arboretum, where magnolias shed petals like confessions. Luca proposed a road trip south, to Oregon's coast for his birthday, cabin in Yachits, waves crashing like unresolved chords. They packed the Subaru with playlists and provisions. Elias's USB syncing to the dash. Remember this one? Ro, our road warrior anthem. The drive wound through Olympic rainforests. Banter flowing easy. Luca's tales of Portland raves. Rowan sketches of roadside diners. At the cabin. Salt air sharp as gin. They made love on driftwood-strewn beaches. Bodies salt-crusted. Laughter mingling with gulls. But paradise cracked on the third day. A voicemail from Harlan. Slur by meds. Need to talk. About the will. Elias's wishes. Rowan played it for Luca over clam chowder in Newport. Appetite fleeing. It's a trap, Luca urged. Or a door. They cut the trip short. Highway hypnosis amplifying dread. Back home. The locket felt heavier. Elias's words a siren call. Fight for your place. February's full moon lit the confrontation. Rowan arrived at the Whitaker home unannounced. Snowmelt trickling gutters. Harlan answered. Gaunt in flannel. Oxygen tube, a serpent at his nose. Come for scraps. The living room held Beatrice and Claire. Ashi. Asleep upstairs. No Kendra. A small mercy. Harlan slid a folder across the coffee table. Codicil to the will. Elias's scrawl amending bequests, a share for Rowan. For the art that keeps us alive. But attached, a letter from Elias. Dated weeks before the crash. Dad, if I'm gone, tell Ro I'm sorry. For not standing taller. For letting the straight path blind me to his. Harlan's voice broke reading it. Eyes wet. He made me promise. To fix it, Rowan scanned the pages. Betrayal's aftertaste bitter. Elias had known his silence wounded, yet waited for death to confess. Why now? Rowan demanded, folder trembling. Because losing one son nearly killed me. Can't lose the other. Beatrice reached for his hand. Her touch papery. Stay for dinner. They did. Turkey tetrazzini steaming. Talk veering to HJ's first steps. Elias's boyhood pranks. Laughter surfaced. Tentative as crocuses. Driving back. Rowan's call to Luca spilled gratitude and rage. He tried. At the end. But hurts all the same. Spring stirred. Cherry blossoms dusting Capitol Hill like confetti from a half-forgiven parade. Rowan accepted the codicil, but therapy with Ellis framed it as milestone, not absolution. Luca's urban planning thesis bloomed. Proposals for queer-friendly green spaces in the Central District. Their love deepened roots, weekends foraging morels in the Olympics. Nights debating Baldwin essays till sleep claimed them. Yet shadows lingered. A package arrived from Claire, Elias's guard jacket. Monogrammed R.W. /EW. Patches frayed from desert sands. Rowan wore it hiking alone in Rattlesnake Ledge. Wind whipping memories. At the summit, overlooking the Snoqualmie Valley, he scattered a pinch of creek gravel, Elias's favorite skipping stones from their childhood. "You were my first love," he whispered to the wind. "And my longest wound." May's sun gilded Elliott Bay, ferries slicing wakes like silver blades. But Rowan's heart lagged in winter's mire. The codicil money, modest, a safety net, bankrolled a studio in Ballard. Exposed beams and north-facing windows flooding sketches with possibility. He dove into commissions, pride posters for Seattle's parade. Bodies in ecstatic bloom against rainbow gradients. Luca cheered from the sidelines. His own internship at a non-profit greening Rainier Valley lots. Their evenings a duet of takeout banh mi and shared dreams. Harlan's health stabilized with stents and statins. Weekly calls evolving from stilted check-ins to gruff anecdotes, mill gossip. HJ's soccer tryouts. "Kids got your footwork." Row. Beatrice mailed care packages, jars of her rhubarb jam, knitted scarves and Seahawks teal. Claire mediated, her texts a lifeline. "He's trying." "We all are." Rowan visited monthly. The Bellingham house thawing, barbecues on the deck overlooking Samish Bay. Ashi. Calling him Uncle Rowan with a lisp that melted defenses. But reconciliations vine bore thorns. At HJ's 5th birthday in June, the backyard swelled with kin, aunts from Linden bearing lutefisk, uncles swapping craft beer. Kendra arrived fashionably late, her smile a veneer over venom. Over potato salad, she cornered Rowan by the grill. "So, the prodigal returns. Elias would be proud if he saw you settled proper." Her eyes flicked to Luca, absent that day, working a farmer's market. Rowan's retort simmered. "Proper like your third divorce?" But Harlan's approach quelled it, his hand heavy on Rowan's shoulder. "Enough. Kendra." Families wide as the bay. The incident festered. Rowan venting to Ellis, its progress laced with poison. Ellis nodded. Journal open. Boundaries. Rowan. Like sketching outlines before fill. He set them, visits capped at 2 hours. No Kendra events, protecting the fragile graft. Luca. Ever the planner. Map date nights. Sunset sails on Lake Union. His hand steady in Rowan's as sails billowed. "You're not half of anything," Luca murmured one dusk. Lips salt-kissed. "You're the whole damn horizon." Summer peaked in a heat wave. Seattle's rare scorch wilting hydrangeas. Air thick as desire. Rowan and Luca escaped to the San Juans. Ferry to Orcas Island. Cabin perched on cliff's edge. Days blurred in kayaks slicing Doe Bay's turquoise. Nights in tangled sheets. Bodies slick with sweat and sea. Elias intruded softly, a seashell necklace from their teen beachcomb. Unearthed in a jacket pocket. Gifted to Luca with a shy grin. "For the man who sees me." Back ashore. Ambition ignited. Marisol's mural unveiled at the Velvet Bean Drew Press. Seattle Weekly Feature. Twin Flames. Art from Loss. Interviews probed gently, Rowan's voice steady. Weaving Elias's straight blaze with his own curved path. "We're mirrors, not copies." Both true. The piece went viral locally. Commissions flooding. Book covers for a queer lit press in Fremont. Gallery spot at Hugo House. Harlan called post article. Voice gruff. "Saw your picture. Looks good." A beat. Then proud. The word landed like rain on parched earth. Rowan choking back. Thanks, Dad. Progress. Incremental as tide pools filling. But autumn's equinox brought storm clouds. Claire texted urgently. Harlan collapsed at work. Mill Hospital. Rowan raced north. Luca insisting on coming. Their Subaru eating miles. The ER waited room reeked of antiseptic and fear. Beatrice pacing. Ashi. Coloring silently. Harlan lay tubed again. Monitors beeping Morse of fragility. Aortic issue, the doc said. Surgery tomorrow. Odds 50-50. Vigil stretched through night. Coffee bitter. Vending machine snacks ash. Harlan woke groggy. Eyes finding Rowan first. Knew you'd come. Weak grip on hand. Pulse faint. Tell you something? Back when you came out. Scared me. Not you. But losing control. Like the mill logs, one slip. Avalanche. Tears tracked his temples. Elias knew. Push me to see. Forgive an old fool. Rowan nodded. Throat tight. Already did. Mostly. Luca squeezed his knee under the chair. Anchor in tumult. Surgery dawned gray. Harlan wheeled away. Family huddling in chapel alcove. Prayers murmured. Beatrice's rosary clicks. Claire's whispered amens. Rowan silent. Clutching the locket. Hours crawled, then success. Harlan emerged scarred, but breathing. ICU a cocoon of beeps and blooms from well-wishers. Recovery bound them tighter. Rowan shuttled supplies, grocery runs to Hagen. Audiobooks of Tom Clancy for Harlan's tastes. One evening, post-discharge, Harlan in his recliner. Oxygen humming. He pulled a photo album from the credenza, yellowed snapshots of twins in footy pajamas. Elias crowning Rowan with dandelion halos. You boys. My anchors. Voice cracked. Missed that. Raising you straight arrow. But you're both sons. Always. The words unlocked floodgates. Rowan wept. Harlan's arm awkward but firm around shoulders. Beatrice joined. Trio tangled in a heap of Kleenex and catharsis. Claire snapped a photo for the album, HJ. Piling on with giggles. Driving south. Luca's hand in his. Rowan exhaled decades' weight. It's not fixed, but it's mending. November's chill nipped at gratitude. Rowan's studio hummed. A solo show at the Fry Art Museum. Reflections, twin echoes. Canvases layering Elias's straight horizons with Rowan's arched intimacies. Opening night glittered. Luca in a sharp vest. Marisol toasting with Prosecco. Even Beatrice and a wheelchair-bound Harlan in attendance. Claire wrangling HJ's tie. Harlan lingered by a piece. Twins silhouetted against Cascadian peaks. One path forked. Roots entwined. That's us, he rumbled. Bent, but bound. Reviews praised the raw humanity, but backlash slithered in. An anonymous email to the gallery, promoting perversion with family tragedy. Kendra's handiwork. Rowan knew. Her Bible group boycott whispers. Ellis unpacked it. Hates the echo of their fear. Don't let it dim your light. Rowan didn't. Instead, he channeled it into a community workshop at the Velvet Bean, teaching queer youth to sketch their stories. Luca's thesis defense loomed December. Nerves frayed over slides of equitable parks. Rowan supported with mock runs in the loft. Post-its of encouragement on the fridge. Their love, once tentative, flowered bold. Proposals whispered over brunch at Le Panier. Move in. Make this us. Rowan yes ing with a pastry crumb kiss. Holiday lights twinkled as they hosted Beatrice's strudel. Harlan's stories of mill Christmases. Ashi. Helping with ornaments. No Kendra. Boundaries held. As snow dusted the Olympics, Rowan reflected, grief's arc bent toward grace. Elias's silence a scar fading to story. Yet winter's solstice whispered warnings. A letter arrived, postmarked Ferndale, Dwight the lawyer, enclosing Elias's final addendum, overlooked in probate haste. To Rowan, forgive me for the years I hid. You are always the light. Use this to shine. Enclosed check, insurance payout sliver, and a key to a safety deposit box in Burlington. Curiosity piqued. Rowan and Luca drove next morn. Box yielding Elias's journals, pages of doubt. Love for Claire shadowed by guilt over Rowan. Wish I could hug him without shame. Wish Dad could too. The find cracked open old fissures. Elias's betrayal, not malice, but paralysis. Rowan shared excerpts with Harlan over coffee in Linden. Elders' eyes misting. He carried that alone. Like I made him. Mutual absolution. Tentative. New Year's resolution. A family trip to Yellowstone. Healing in geyser steam. Plan sketched. But fate intervened. Claire called panicked. HJ's fever spiking. ER. Rowan bolted. Luca trailing. The wait was interminable. Diagnosis meningitis. Bacterial. Treatable, but terrifying. Hours in pediatric ward. Ashi. 4D. Tiny chest rising. Harlan arrived. Beatrice praying. Family vigil redux. Dawn broke with HJ. Stirring. Smile weak, but winning. Uncle Wa. Story. Rowan spun tales of twin wolves in the woods. One bold. One wise. Pack unbreakable. Recovery stretched weeks. But bonds forged iron, daily visits. Luca reading picture books. Harlan whittling a wooden wolf for HJ. By Valentine's. Snow melted to slush. Rowan's show toured to Portland's Q Center. Luca's thesis aced. Celebration at a waterfront oyster bar. Prosecco pops. Harlan toasting via video to roots and wings. Love's language evolved. Luca's ring glinting casual. Promise of forever. But spring's thaw unearthed buried roots. A news clip pinged Rowan's feed. Bellingham mill closure. Harlan's job axed in corporate cull. 60 years. Gone. His voice hollow on the call. Rowan offered the codicil funds. Bridged the gap. Harlan accepting with grace. Means more than money. Son. Summer solstice found them road-tripping Olympic Peninsula. Tent pitched by Seoul Duk Hot Springs. Luca and Rowan soaked under stars. Bodies buoyant. Elias's jacket draped nearby. To second chances, Luca toasted with spring water. Amen. Rowan thought. Steam rising like prayers answered. July's heat miraged the Salish Sea. Ferries ghosting horizons as Rowan navigated Harlan's unemployment limbo. The mill's shuddering rippled, laid-off loggers picketing in hard hats. Harlan joining rallies with signs scrawled Cedar Souls United. Rowan drove up weekends, sketching protest posters, stylized axes crossing into olive branches, distributed at union halls. Art's ammunition, a grizzled vet told him, clapping his back. Luca's internship morphed permanent. His designs greening Capitol Hill pocket parks, rain gardens capturing runoff. Benches etched with Audre Lorde quotes. Their loft-pulsed partnership, shared grocery lists pinned to corkboard. Mornings tangled in sheets. Luca's curls tickling Rowan's neck. "You're my North Star," Luca murmured over avocado toast. Eyes earnest. Rowan believed it. The locket now a chain linking past to present. Family mended incrementally. Beatrice's garden yielded bumper zucchini. Shipped south in care packages with notes. "Plant these, grow your own roots." Ashi. Post-meningitis. Bounce back boisterous. Demanding twin stories at sleepovers in Seattle. Luca playing Elias with exaggerated flair. Harlan softened further. Mailing clippings of queer icons. Elliot Page profiles. Thumbtacked above his workbench. Learning curve, he grunt on calls. But August stormed in betrayal's guise. Claire called mid-commute. Voice splintered, Kendra's stirring shit. Told the pastor about the codicil. Says it's blood money for sin. Congregation's buzzing. Rowan pulled over on Aurora Avenue. Traffic snarling. Heart slamming. Kendra's crusade peaked at a church potluck. Whispers reaching Harlan via Deacon. Whitaker's divided by the devil's twin. Confrontation brewed at Labor Day picnic in Hovander Park. Linden's fields golden under harvest moon. Tents dotted grass. Aunts frying smalahove. Uncles tossing horseshoes. Kendra held court by the pavilion. Bible open like indictment. Rowan arrived with Luca. Harlan's nod welcoming. But air crackled. Ashi. Tug Rowan's hand. Play tag. Distraction brief. Kendra approached post-meal. Smile saccharine. Luca. Right? Such a supportive friend. Luca's jaw tightened. But Rowan stepped forward. Voice low thunder. Cousin. Your sermons save souls. Mine paint them. Room for both. Kendra's laugh chilled cider air. Not when one's dragging family to hell. Harlan overheard. Rising slow from his camp chair. Oxygen tank clinking. That's enough. Ken. Elias chose love over lines. I'm choosing the same. The park hushed. Relatives shifting. Beatrice's gasp audible. Kendra flushed. Retorting. Uncle Harlan. The devil quotes scripture, but he cut her. Voice mill forged steel. And sons honor fathers. Rowan's mine. End of sermon. She stormed off. Gravel crunching. Family murmuring approval. Claire hugged Rowan fierce. Dad's roar. Finally, fall foliage flamed Whatcom trails. Rowan and Harlan hiking Blanchard State Park. Paces matched. Breaths sinking. Elders shared war stories. Not battles, but home front. Beatrice's miscarriages before the twins. Fears of empty nests. You boys filled cracks I didn't know cracked. Rowan reciprocated. Vulnerability valve opened. Coming out felt like exile. Elias's silence. Hurt deepest. Harlan nodded. Leaves crunching. He regretted it. Told me before the end. Make it right. Dad. Absolution's weight lifted. Rowan channeling it into legacy. He pitched a community center mural for Bellingham's Depot Market Square, twin rivers merging. One straight, one meandering, feeding a vibrant delta. Funding crowd-funded swift. Locals chipping via GoFundMe. Harlan's union buddies leading pledges. Luca's birthday anchored October. Surprise dinner at Canlis. Skyline twinkling. Menu pairings exquisite. Over Dungeon S crab. Luca slid a key across linen. Officially ours. Co-signed the lease. Rowan Yesinji with a kiss that drew waiter smiles. Post-dinner, they wandered Cary Park. Twins, shadows, long under moon. Space Needle winking consent. November's gray, gifted introspection. Rowan's Fry Show residuals seeded a scholarship. Elias Whitaker Memorial for Queer Youth Artists launched a Hugo House reading. Teens shared verses of hidden loves. Harlan attending remote. Voice cracking on Zoom toast for the boy who taught me seeing. Ashi. Drew the logo, two stick figures hand in hand. Rainbows overhead. Thanksgiving gathered full. Whitaker table extended to Luca. Marisol. Ellis. Turkey carved. Stories swapped. Elias's epic fails. Like the time he glued his hand to a model plane. Laughter healed. Wounds scabbing to stories. Post-feast walk along the bay. Harlan lagged with Rowan. Arm linked. Proud of the man you grew into. Both of you. Winter's solstice whispered of cycles. Holiday cards featured the family photo from the picnic. HJ. Mid-giggle. Luca's arm casual around Rowan. Harlan's health rallied. Cardiac rehab walks in Fairhaven parks. But January iced old fractures. Dwight called. Probate snag. Kendra contesting the codicil. Claiming undue influence from Rowan's lifestyle. Rage boiled. Rowan pacing the loft. Luca brewing chamomile. Fight it, Luca urged. Or let it go. Ellis mediated. What's the win? Court loomed affordable via pro bono from a queer legal aid in Tacoma. But toll mounted. Depositions dredging Elias's journals. Kendra's affidavits venomous. He pitted Rowan. Nothing more. Trial day dawn sodden. Whatcom County Courthouse squat and stern. Gallery sparse. Beatrice dabbing eyes. Claire steely. Harlan absent. Doctor's orders. Kendra testified first. Voice quavering piety. Elias was traditional. This amendment? Coerced by grief. Rowan's turn cracked open soul. Journals read aloud. Elias's words bomb and blade. He wrote, Rowan's light. Don't dim it. That coercion. Judge. A silver-haired woman named Vargas. Ruled swift. Codicil upheld. Contest dismissed with cost to Kendra. Outside. Rain easing. Family clustered. Beatrice's hug bone-crushing. Claire's it's over. But victory tasted Pyrrhic. Kendra's glare from the curb, a parting shot. Driving south. Luca's hand grounded. You won more than paper. Home. They celebrated subdued. Takeout from Babar. Toast to resilience. News spread. Press nibble from Cascadia Daily. Family feud ends in unity. Harlan called jubilant. Knew you'd stand tall. February thawed to flirtations. Rowan's mural at Depot Square broke ground. Scaffolding rising like resolve. Luca proposed park expansion. Queer history plaques embedded in paths. Their love, battle-tested, bloomed erotic, slow dances in the loft to Phoebe Bridgers. Bodies rediscovering in candle flicker. Spring equinox heralded bloom. HJ's kindergarten roundup. Rowan volunteering art stations. Finger paints flying. Harlan retired officially. Tinkering a woodworking shop in the garage. Custom frames for Rowan's pieces. Beatrice's garden party drew neighbors. Luca's salads lauded. Kendra's absence noted, but not missed. May's Pride Prep pulse citywide. Rowan curated a float for the parade. Twin silhouettes in glitter. Roots entwined. Riders including Harlan waving from a golf cart. Ashi. Perched on shoulders. Marched down 4th Avenue, thrummed electric. Drums beating heartbeats. Signs proclaiming love's legacy. At the rally, Rowan spoke unscripted. My brother taught me family isn't forged in sameness, but in showing up. For Elias. For all of us. Cheers swelled. Luca's kiss public. Harlan's nod from the crowd profound. Post-parade picnic in Cal Anderson. Family sprawled on blankets. Ashi. Chasing frisbees. Evening found Rowan and Luca on the loft balcony. City lights a constellation. We're building something, Rowan said. Locket glinting. Unbreakable. Summer's zenith tested that. Wildfires smoked the Cascades. Air acrid. Harlan's lungs straining. Evac alerts pinged. Rowan evacuating them south. Beatrice's quilts bundled. HJ's stuffed bear clutched. Crashing at the loft. Family-filled space. Board games by board. Luca's stories soothing nightmares. Fires quelled. Return north brought clarity. Harlan selling the house. Downsizing to a condo in Sudden Valley. Time for new chapters. Closing the Whitaker home gutted. Boxes of Elias's toys donated. Rowan's sketches salvaged. In the attic, a forgotten cassette, twins' voices. Age 8. Plotting world domination via treehouses. Playback in the empty kitchen. Laughter echoing voids. He want us laughing, Harlan said. Packing the last lamp. Relocation weekend. U-Haul groaning. Rowan drove the lead car. Luca shotgun. New condo gleam modern, bay views. No stairs for Harlan. Housewarming. Potluck of Beatrice's pies. Claire's lasagna. Marisol's tamales. Toast rang to horizons. Ashi. Claimed the balcony as fort. Twins' spirits invoked in breeze. Autumn wove gratitude. Rowan Scholarship awarded first recipient, a trans teen from Tacoma. Portfolio fierce. Harlan framed the acceptance letter. Hung proud. Luca's park broke ground. Ribbon cut with community elders. Love's rhythm steadied. Weekend getaways to Leavenworth's vineyards. Autumn leaves carpeting paths. November's chill carried closure. All Souls Day. Family visited Elias's grave in Linden Cemetery. Granite marker etched beloved son, brother, father. Flowers laid. Ashi. Scattering pine cones. Rowan read from journals. Live loud. Row. Harlan added. We will. Hands joined circle. Roots deep. December's frost-etched window panes. Seattle's solstice markets aglow with mulled wine and handmade wreaths. Rowan's studio overflowed canvases. Winter series. Twins and snow globe vignettes. Straight paths curving under aurora veils. Commissions hummed. Holiday cards for a queer-owned print shop in Georgetown. Proceeds to the scholarship. Luca's Parks initiative expanded. Grants flowing for inclusive play spaces in Beacon Hill. Family orbits stabilized. Harlan's condo suited. Morning walks along the Bay Trail. Fishing rod slung. Beatrice's herbs thriving on the patio. Ashi. Thrived in kindergarten. Art projects mailed south. Uncle Roe plus Luca equals hearts. Visits reciprocal. Twins' birthday merged. Late November bash at the loft. Cake layered chocolate hazelnut. Harlan regaling with mill yarns. Luca DJing a playlist of 90s alt-rock Elias loved. But January's New Year birth tempests. Claire announced separation. Amicable. She swore. But seismic. Drift after Elias. We're better co-parents apart. Ashi. Shuttled weekends. Confusion creasing his brow. Rowan mediated playdates. Luca building Lego forts to distract. Harlan grumbled. Marriage like logging, timber shifts, but Beatrice fretted rosaries. Rowan's support stretched thin. Late-night calls with Claire. Tears over Pinot. Was it me? The family mess? No, Rowan soothed. Grief's undertow. Let it pass. His own doubts surfaced. Luca's late nights at site meetings. Text delayed. Insecurity whispered. Am I Elias's shadow still? February's Valentine's blizzard blanketed the city. Flights grounded. Ferries docked. Rowan and Luca snowed in. Cabin fever turning cozy. Soup simmered. Old movies cued. When Harry Met Sally. Debates on soulmates. But mid-March. Fracture faulted. Luca confessed over dim sum in the ID. Job offer in Portland. Lead designer. Double pay. For us, house. Stability. Rowan's gut twisted. And me? Uproot again. Talk spiraled. Pros weighed. Affordable home. Closer to family drives. Cons heavy. Rowan Seattle roots. Studio momentum. It's not exile, Luca pleaded. Eyes pleading. It's growth. But echoes of Elias's silence rang. Choices made without full voice. Therapy with Ellis unpacked. Fear of loss. Rowan. Pattern from a twins divide. April showers mirrored moods. Harlan's checkup revealed spot on lung benign. Doc said, but biopsy loomed. Old man's wearing thin, he joked on call, but voice quavered. Rowan flew up. Luca in tow. Bellingham's hospital, familiar haunt. Wait nod. Results clean, scar from smokes. Nothing more. Relief party at the condo, steaks grilled. Ashi. Wielding tongs like scepter. Portland pulled persistent. Luca toured sites. Rowan tagging hesitant, food carts steaming. Willamette bridges arch graceful. A Pearl District loft charmed. But Rowan's sketches faltered. Lines hesitant. Feels like running, he admitted nights. Luca's arms console. Decision deadline loomed May. Spring's pride amplified stakes. Rowan's float led again. Harlan marching beside. Signed Dads for Equality. Post-parade. Rally speech gutted. Family's not given, it's chosen. Fought for. Crowd roared. But backstage, Luca's hug lingered. That's why Portland. Build with you. Not without. Crisis crested Memorial Day. Claire's custody mediation soured. Kendra testifying. Painting her moral guardian. Courtroom redux. Rowan witnessing Claire's crumble. Post-hearing. Drive to Seattle raw. HJ. Need stability, Claire wept. Like you gave me. Home. Luca waiting with tacos. But tension simmered. Portland unpacked in whispers. June's solstice scorched decisions. Luca accepted. Start date July. Rowan wrestled. Sublet the studio? Remote freelance? Heart screamed stay. Head tallied futures. Harlan advised over diner hash. Follow light. Sun. Even if it bends. Beatrice added. Loves a garden. Transplant careful. Uproot day, dawn drizzly. Boxes labeled. Loft echoing empty. Farewell at the Velvet Bean. Marisol's tears. Mural selfies. Drive South I, 5 ribbon. Ashi. Waving from back seat, Claire's weekend handoff. Portland welcomed. Loft in Alphabet District. Views of Mount Hood snow-capped. Unpacking unearthed Elias's cassette. Played on new stereo. Twins giggles filling voids. Settling charmed gradual. Luca's office buzzed. Carpool with Claire for HJ. Visits. Rowan's pop-up studio in a co-op space. Queer artists collaborating. Murals for Alberta Arts District. Nights. They cook paella on the balcony. City lights winking forgiveness. But homesickness hounded. Seattle calls with Harlan nostalgic. Bay sunsets missed. July 4th fireworks viewed from the loft. But Rowan's mind wandered to Sehome High Fields. Luca noticed. Massages turning talks. Regret. Adjustment. Rowan hedged. Intimacy dipped. Bodies mechanical. Hearts lagging. August wildfires smoked again. Portland air thick. Lungs aching. Harlan's cough worsened. Biopsy false alarm. But anxiety spiked. Virtual visit. Miss your sketches on the fridge. Guilt gnawed Rowan. Distance a chasm reopened. Crisis peaked Labor Day. HJ's school start. Claire overwhelmed post-mediation win. Joint custody. Kendra sidelined. She called desperate. Need a village. Can you? Rowan flew north. Luca covering shifts. Bellingham week blurred. School drop-offs. PDA meetings. HJ's tears at bedtime. Uncle Rose stay. Harlan's condo refuge. Chess games by fire. Return south. Luca's airport pickup strained. Family pulls harder than roots. Argument erupted en route. Luca accusing cling. Rowan abandonment fears. Elias left me behind. Rowan yelled. Words venom. Luca pulled over. Willamette glittering. I'm not him. But I can't be everything. Silence stretched. Then embrace. Tears salt. Promises tender. September's equinox healed. Couples therapy via Zoom with a Portland queer counselor. Unpacking patterns. Rowan's exile script. Luca's provider drive. Tools emerged. Weekly check-ins. I feels over accusations. Intimacy reignited. Picnics in Forest Park. Bodies rediscovering under maple canopies. Fall foliage frame progress. Rowan's co-op show drew crowds. Uprooted twins. Canvases of forked paths merging rivers. Harlan attended. Flight funded by scholarship residuals. Beatrice beaming. Your light travels, he said. Hug fierce. October's harvest brought bounty. Claire dated cautiously, a teacher from Ferndale. Gentle with HJ. Family Thanksgiving planned Portland style. Potluck at the loft. Harlan's flight. Beatrice's pies shipped. Ashi. Arrived buzzing. Fireworks again. November's chill carried depth. Elias's birthday would be 33. Marked private. Candle lit. Journal read by the Willamette. Miss you. Eli. But living loud. Luca joined. Handheld. Sharing his own losses. Abuela's passing. Migration's ache. Winter's approach whispered wholeness. Holiday cards featured the blended clan, Portland skyline backdrop. Ashi. Mid-jump. Harlan's health steady. Woodworking orders for custom queer pride boxes. Luca's promotion. Team lead. Celebrating with Dim some feasts. New Year's Eve. Balcony champagne. City horns hailing. Rowan toasted to bends in the river. Luca's kiss sealed. Ring slipped quiet, simple band. Engraved, entwined. Yes, gasped. Dawn breaking gold. But spring's thaw-tested vows. Wildfire season early. Smoke choking. Harlan's lungs flaring. Hospital stint. Pneumonia brush. Rowan shuttled planes. Luca holding fort. Recovery slow. But video calls bridged, tough as cedar, Harlan rasped. May's Pride Portland pulsed vibrant, float entry. Twins theme redux. Harlan marching virtual. Rowan's speech, distance doesn't divide. Love bridges. Cheers echoed. Family pride swelling. Summer solstice found equilibrium. HJ's camp in Bellingham. Rowan volunteering art weeks. Luca joining weekends. Portland rooted deep, community garden plots. Queer book club meets. Yet July's heat wave baked unrest. Claire's beau proposed, elopement to Victoria. Ashi. Ring bearer. Joy tempered caution. He's good, Rowan told Harlan. Elder nodding. Like Luca for you. August eclipse, shadowed skies. Family gathering Portland for totality. Condo packed, telescopes. Picnics. Moon's bite. Sun's corona, miracle shared. Elias invoked in awe. September's back to school steadied. Rowan's solo exhibit at Blue Sky Gallery. Rivers merged, sold out. Harlan buying first print. Luca's park ribbon cut. Plaque for chosen families. October's colors peaked. Anniversary trip to Oregon coast, cabin in Nescowan. Tides pulling confessions. Portland's home because you're here, Rowan admitted. Luca's grin. Knew it. November's gratitude circle. Thanksgiving loft feast. Harlan carving. Ashi. Toasting uncles forever. Laughter healed. Wounds faint scars. December's lights twinkled promise. Scholarship gala. Second recipient, a non-binary artist from Eugene. Elias's light. Multiplied. January's frost etched new beginnings. Portland's Pearl District alive with post-holiday hum. Rowan's gallery residuals seeded expansions, a youth mentorship program. Workshops in the co-op blending digital and analog. Luca's team grew. Projects greening the East Bank Esplanade with native pollinator strips. Their loft. Now home etched in routines, Sunday pancakes. Luca's abuela recipes, spiced with cumin and memory, felt solid. A foundation poured from fractures. Family threads wove tighter. Harlan's woodworking venture bloomed. Etsy shop Cedar Hearts crafting queer-affirming heirlooms. Coming out boxes inlaid with rainbows. Beatrice collaborated, painting lids with wildflower motifs. Ashi. Six and fierce. Video called weekly. His room in Claire's new Bellingham bungalow plastered with Rowan's prints. Claire's marriage to Theo, a nod to Rowan's ex. Cosmic joke, anchored her. Elopement photos shared. Ferry to Victoria. Ashi. Beaming in tiny kilt. But February's Valentine's brought undercurrents. A letter from Kendra arrived. Postmarked anonymous but scent of her lavender soap. Repent. Before judgment claims the boy. Venom veiled concern for HJ. But Ellis dissected it therapy side. Projections poison. Boundaries. Always. Rowan burned it in the sink. Ash swirling drain. Luca's arms fortifying. March's rains nourished growth. Rowan's mentorship launched with 10 teens, portraits of self. Vulnerabilities voiced in charcoal strokes. 1. Alex from Gresham. Mirrored young Rowan. Freckled. Hesitant lines tracing first loves. Your proof, Alex said post-session. Hub tentative. Pride swelled. Elias's echo in every brave mark. Harlan's spring checkup clean. But cough lingered stubborn. Doc said, quit smokes for good. For the grandkids, he joked. Eyeing HJ. Via screen. Easter gathered. Portland's waterfront egg hunt. Ashi. Hunting plastic prizes. Luca hiding extras for glee. Beatrice's dyed eggs. Harlan's carved bunnies, tradition remade. April's taxes unearthed windfall. Elias's life insurance back pay. Probate finally settled. Rowan funneled it to the scholarship. Endowment secured. Claire texted grateful. Eli would approve. Guilt's ghost stirred. Had silence cost more? But Luca's weekend getaway to Hood River quelled. Bike trails, winding orchards. Nights in tubs. Bodies buoyant. May's pride crescendoed. Portland's parade snaked Burnside. Rowan's float a kinetic sculpture. Twins' paths as kinetic rivers. LED lit merging. Harlan flew down, marching arm in arm. Sign, legacy is love. Ashi. On shoulders, waving flags. Rally mic in hand. Rowan voiced, one straight. One gay but both sons. Buried in hearts. Not graves. Thunderous applause. Tears salt-kissed. June's solstice warmth invited vulnerability. Luca proposed formally, knee in Forest Park wildflower meadow. Ring rose gold with sapphire inlay. Entwined forever. Yes, choked. Embrace fierce. Engagement news rippled. Harlan Scotch toast. Beatrice's squeal. Claire's brunch planning. July's heat-tested joys. Wildfires skirted again. Air advisory. But family camped Crater Lake, tents by obsidian shores. Ashi. Roasting marshmallows. Harlan stories by fire. Twins' boyhood escapades. Amended truths. You led in ways I missed. Row. Dawn hikes. Caldera blue abyss. Rebirth mirrored. August back-to-school buzzed. Ashi. First grade. Rowan virtual reading volunteer. Tales of adventurous uncles. Luca's project won award, Urban Greenway grant. Plaque unveiling with mayor's speech. Celebration dinner. Voodoo donut tower. Laughter sweet as glaze. September's equinox balanced. Rowan's exhibit toward Seattle. Homecoming at Fry. Marisol hosting afterparty. Harlan attended. Flight with Beatrice. Tears at mural. Full circle. Ashi. Stay with Claire. But FaceTime cheers. Uncle Ro famous. October's harvest moon pulled introspection. All Saints vigil at Elias's grave. Family pilgrimage. Flowers crimson maple. Rowan laid journal page. Lived loud. Brother. For us. Harlan's hand on stone. Proud sons. Both. Ashi. Scattered leaves. Innocent right. November's chill deepen bonds. Thanksgiving Portland. Extended table. Theo's salmon gravlax joining Beatrice's turkey. Toasts layered. Luca's to chosen rivers. Harlan's to bends that bind. HJ's prayer. Thanks for uncles who stay. December's lights heralded union. Wedding plans sketch casual. Backyard in Bellingham. Summer solstice. Under madrona trees. Invites handwritten. Harlan officiant via online ordination. Pre-wedding trip. Twins trail to Artist Point. Ashes of old letters scattered windswept. January 2026 dawned resolutions. Mentorship grew. Alex's first solo show, Rowan Gallerist. Luca's promotion. Family dinner celebrate. Harlan shop hit milestone, 100th order. Queer couples anniversary box. February's love month. Rings resized. Vows drafted poetic. Kendra's silence golden. Rumor therapy. Mending own fractures. Claire's pregnancy announced. Theos, half-sibling for HJ, Joy Ripples. March's Rains, Clear to Rainbows. Rowan's Book Deal, graphic memoir. Twin Rivers, sketches and stories interwoven. Advance-funded honeymoon, Amalfi whispers. But Portland roots held. April's taxes tidy. Fool's pranks, HJ led. Whoopee cushions at dinner. Laughter therapy. May's pride prep. Float evolved. Rings entwined rivers. Harlan's health peak. Walks unaided. June's wedding eve. Rehearsal under stars. Vows exchanged dawn. In bends and straits. I choose you. Ceremony intimate. Family circle. Ashi. Ring bearer. Beatrice's tears. Harlan's I do's blessing. Honeymoon postponed. Wildfire aid. Rowan volunteering murals for relief centers. Luca's green spaces. Evacuation routes marked. July's heat. Homecoming haze. HJ's camp counselor. Art badge earned. August eclipse redux. Family viewing, totality bonds. September's school year. Alex mentors now. October's foliage. Grave visit annual. Elias's stone moss soft. Love enduring. November's feast. Baby bumps celebrated. Names brainstormed. Rowan uncle twice. December's solstice. Light strung loft. Year closes grateful. Twins legacy. One straight. One gay. Both buried deep in sons' hearts. Unforgotten. Unbreakable. As snow dusted the Willamette. Rowan sketched by window. Luca asleep. City slumbering. Elias's locket rested chest. Pulse steady. Life's river flowed. Merged. Eternal.